beautiful people, and welcome back to the She Shoots podcast, Women Empowering Women in the Shooting Community, Season 5, Episode 52, Beyond the Shot, from Team USA to Empowering Women Outdoors. So today we have Deneen Tomley, Casey Gavinchuk, Kelly Melanson, and myself, Regina Ruiz Ordonez, as your host for today's episode. I'm going to keep it brief for today. We'll do events announcements at the end of the show, so I'll come back at the end of that. But for now, I will send it over to Deneen and Kelly to introduce our amazing guests for today.
Thank you, Regina, and thank you for calling us all beautiful people. I appreciate that.
Right.
All right. Well, we are super excited to have our guest on tonight, and I get the pleasure of introducing you with your bio, Brandy, and then we're going to get into some questions. We have so much to talk about tonight. So, a little bit about Brandy. Brandy Elrod is the founder of Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, a woman-focused outdoor media platform, and she's a former Team USA shotgun athlete as well. As an NSCA and NRA Level 2 instructor, she specializes in wing shooting and empowering women, youth, and individuals with limb differences through adaptive training, education, and authentic representation in the outdoors. Welcome to She Shoots, Brandy.
Hi, ladies. I'm actually really excited to be on the podcast with you guys. I've kind of been following you guys for a little while, and I thought y'all would be amazing to talk to and spread the word of, getting women outdoors.
Wow, that's amazing to hear that you've been following us for a little bit. Yeah, we're super excited to have you on tonight and think that you're an amazing guest to have. And quite frankly, we want to say thanks for reaching out to us as well. You've got a lot of experience and a lot of stuff that you've been doing in the shooting community, and we just want to say thank you for doing that. So why don't we get into, Dean already read your bio, but why don't we get into the episode itself, and why don't you tell us a little bit how you actually got into the shooting sports? So how did you start out?
So kind of by fluke. I grew up a rodeo kid in a competitive atmosphere, and when I turned 30, I sold everything as far as all the horses and everything, and we bought a beach house, and I got bored. And one day, working at a private school that I worked at, some of the kids came to me and they wanted a shotgun team, and like, okay, but I don't know how to shoot. Growing up with an injury, I was born, for a lack of better terms, due to malpractice, really, a brachial plexus injury, right arm. And what that is, the brachial plexus is 5 nerves in your body, and it severed all 5 nerves when I was born, and I lost my right arm. And so over the years, I've had multiple surgeries, and I kind of have to do everything a little bit differently. So shooting a shotgun was really never in my sights. Grew up rifles, pistols, that kind of thing, but never a shotgun. And so when the kids were like, we want a shotgun team, I'm like, that's great. I will learn how to coach, but I really should learn how to shoot too. And I found an amazing gunsmith, and him and my husband and myself came up with the shotgun and how I shoot, which is kind of interesting. Started with a dowel rod, and now I literally use a hiking trekking pole with an AR grip and a Picatinny rail on it. And I went from one extreme to the other, and I kind of have always done things to the extreme, and started learning how to coach, learning how to shoot at the same exact time, which is wild. And I think it made me actually a better shooter and a better coach, because I learned the method and the technology behind shooting before I actually even physically learned how to shoot. And so started my shotgun team, met the most amazing mentor, Craig Porter, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I think he thought I was crazy the first NRA certification class I went into, because I was just this crazy Texan walking into his class and like, you're going to teach me how to teach. And well, we developed a great friendship, and 4 years after I started shooting, I sent a clipping to him of a lady by the name of Noble out of South Dakota, which was the very first person for Team USA. That was Para that went overseas to compete. And I said, I want to do this. And after Facebook stalking her for 6 weeks, she finally answered my phone call, called her. We talked, and she goes, yeah, this is great. But our national qualifiers in 6 weeks. I had never shot international trap, and thus went back to Craig and I said, I want to do this. And he said, okay. So I spent 6 weeks learning how to shoot bunker. I drove 4 hours one way, 3 days a week for 6 straight weeks to train on the closest bunker to me at the time, and made the team the first year and spent 4 years on the USA team. So I was still coaching. I had a very successful youth shotgun team here in the state of Texas, one of the largest female populations on the team. So that was always for me. And then I continued to gain more shotgun certifications. Whenever I retired from the USA team in 2022, I got bored and started picking up wing shooting and took that to the extreme, public land stuff. And that's how I got into teaching women, and then teaching those with limb differences. So since I had that platform, that para platform, and I was around a lot of paraplegics, I kind of saw how their guns were adapted and how I had to adapt my gun. And kind of with my amazing gunsmith, which unfortunately he passed on this year, we started adapting other shotguns for other people. And I started teaching kids through various organizations, and that's where I'm at now. It's been a long journey. It's been a fun journey. I've met a lot of amazing people. And really, the shotgun world has kind of paved my path as an adult.
It sounds like you've had an amazing career, very fast trajectory as well,
Yes.
obviously, right? But it's been amazing. And when we talked previously, I'm going, we have to have her on. We have to have her on. So I have to ask, so it was only a couple of months between you qualifying for the Paralympic team and so from shooting to qualifying for the Paralympic team, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. So from the time I learned to shoot till the time I made the team was 4 years.
Okay.
And then from the time that I had figured out what Olympic trap was to the time I made the team was 6 weeks. And Olympic trap, in my opinion, people will argue this, is probably the hardest, most mentally challenging discipline to shoot in shotgun. Because I mean, you're literally standing on top of 15 machines, and those targets are traveling anywhere from 67 to 75 miles an hour, left, right, or center. So I mean, it doesn't get much crazier than that. And then whenever I've had the privilege of shooting all over the world, and when you're in other countries and different types of weather and targets fly different and all of that. And then I don't hold the front of the gun, so I really don't have any control of the front of the shotgun. So whenever it's raining, whenever it's windy, all of those are factors that play into my ability to shoot. I mean,
right.
I had a guy one time watch me shoot. He was able-bodied, and it was 40-mile-an-hour wind, and it was just controlling the front of my gun. I called praying and spraying during wind. And he goes, wow, that's like using a kite to shoot. And I was like, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I'm super impressed. I just have to say, I truly am. When we were having our discussions, we were also discussing how you did say that you were teaching people at that point and coaching people how to shoot because of your experiences with your own shooting, and then you started to interact with other people. So youth as well as adults who wanted to enjoy the shooting experience. So do you want to talk about how you actually started to, because it wasn't just with the school, you've been approached by all kinds of different people to.
Yeah. So whenever I started teaching others with limb differences, literally one day I was sitting in my hairstylist at the time's chair, And she was telling me about this this guy that she cut his hair, and how he showing her this picture of this lady on sponsored by Blazer, showing her a picture of me on their Instagram, and he was like, and he literally said, I think that she has the same birth injury as my daughter. And so she was looking at this picture and she goes, yeah, that's my son's shotgun coach. And so I connected with him, and sure enough, she had the same birth injury as me, and all she wanted to do was be able to dove hunt with her dad. She always sat in a chair next to her dad. She would ride the Ranger around, but she never actually got to hunt with her dad. And so he brought her out to the private school I worked for. We had our own private shotgun range, and he brought her out to the range. I rigged a gun up for her, and she hit her first target, and he just bawled. Like, it was 25 years in the making that his little girl was going to get to do what he does. And so now she dove hunts with her dad. And another time, I was at a shotgun range, and this lady noticed me, and then she found me on social media and reached out. She has the same birth injury. She was the event planner at the shotgun range, but she's never actually physically shot. And so she came out to the house, because I do have a machine here at my house, and I rigged a gun up for her and had her hitting clays. I used to volunteer for an organization that focuses on kids with limb differences. I've even rigged a shotgun for a child, or well, actually 2 children and an adult that don't have arms, where they were able to pull the trigger with their teeth with how we rigged it. And so, you know, if I can just see a picture, I can visualize it, and I can make a shotgun. Her Upland, an organization that I'm on the board for, and I'm a wing shooting instructor. How I ended up with them is 2023, one of their former regional coordinators stalked me on social media, and social media is a thing. And so she was like, I need your help. I have been helping a little girl that is missing part of her arm. She was born like that, which shockingly, there are a lot of children born with missing limbs. And she goes, will you come to Arizona? She won a scholarship for our quail camp, but we really don't know how to help her. And so here I am. I basically had Home Depot in my shotgun case, and went to rural Arizona, literally not far from the border of Mexico, and rigged a shotgun for her, taught her how to shoot it, and took her quail hunting for 2 days.
That's awesome.
In the mountains. And so because of this, like, you know, you grow up, I don't know any different. Like, I did all the things growing up, and for me, I don't know any different. And it's funny because, you know, you'll see people like staring, and they like know something's wrong, but they don't know how to pinpoint it. And for me, I mean, it's just who I am, you know. But now it's like, now that I'm in this world, especially since being on the USA team, I was on the USA team with some of the most incredible people, and meeting all these other athletes from other countries, and just seeing what they deal with. And it's just second to me. And so that's what I love. I get people that contact me from all over the world asking for help. And even if it's not the shooter, it's the coach of the country, or that someone from the shooting body of that country, and they're like, hey, we have this shooter, we need your help. And I'm very fortunate to do that. And, you know, it's really led me. I think that's how I don't really give private lessons or do private instruction anymore. I just help other organizations. I mainly focus on women's groups. And this unfortunate injury that I received at birth kind of gave me some of the best blessings in life.
I could listen to this for hours. Yeah. You're so motivating. You have such a beautiful gift with people that helps people find a path to doing something that they probably were told they couldn't do. And I mean, it brings tears to my eyes. I think it's just such a beautiful thing. So good for you. Good for you.
I think that's why it is because it's like I was lucky enough to have parents that they were a little young, a little dumb, and so they kind of like trial and error. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I fearlessly, and I've gotten myself into some crazy situations living like that, but it's taken me on to some crazy adventures too.
And so let's talk about the adventure called Lady Outdoor
Yeah.
Lifestyles, because we've learned about how you got to the Olympics and Team USA, and we've talked a little bit about your wing shooting, but we haven't mentioned Lady Outdoor Lifestyles. What is it, and how did that come to be?
So, Lady Outdoor Lifestyles actually used to be Lady Shooter Lifestyles.
Mhm.
I started with Lady as a blogger back in 2020. So I was providing them content on being a para athlete, on other para athletes. And then I became a writer. And then the magazine, it was a magazine, and it was a published print magazine. And then the magazine went on a little bit of a hiatus for a few years. And then in 2023, I was brought back as a writer, and the editor at the time um, for the first issue in 2023 was a man, and he reached out to me and he was like, "Yeah, this isn't working." And I was like, why? Because we don't think like a woman. And so I became the editor and kind of ran with it. And then I became the owner at the end of 2023 and just revamped the entire magazine. I ran it as Lady Shooter Lifestyles in 2024. And I was having so many issues on social media because of the name, unfortunately. And so I decided that I was going to change the name and change it to Lady Outdoor Lifestyles. One, better social media frontage, and two, because I can go hashtag LOL. So
I yeah, I didn't get that, but
yeah,
makes total sense.
and we've kind of, life evolves. Media has changed so much. The
Yeah.
public has changed so much. And it is really hard to own a publication,
Yeah.
especially when you don't know what you're doing. I have no background in publication. I just knew that I wanted to keep the magazine alive because it is so important to so many women, and the education and the content. And so in 2026, I decided to change it to strictly social media. We added YouTube, TikTok, all of that. I hired the most amazing social media manager, Ashley Holm. She is rocking it. And our biggest thing is telling the stories of other women.
Yeah.
So LOL is not about us, it's about everyone else.
And how do people, engage with it now that you're fully social media and online? Are you interviewing them? Are they reaching out to you? A little of both? How does that happen?
It's a little bit of both. So, for example, this hunt that I just did. So I was in Florida on an invasive species weekend, really.
Yeah.
And well, 7 friends, and then made another friend while we were there. Teamed up with Ducks Unlimited Ascend, which is an amazing program I've been a part of for the past couple of years. So Ducks Unlimited has a lady program and podcast called Ascend, and they followed us to film Florida invasive species. And normally they do this as like with other organizations and businesses and stuff, but it was really just 8 women that we have all come together through Lady Outdoor Lifestyles. Whether I was their wing shooting instructor, we hunted together, and we made a show. And it'll
Yeah.
be out probably 6 to 8 weeks. But basically that's how people reach out to me. They have these ideas, or I find I am a member of a lot of Facebook groups because I'm not on there. I'm on there for knowledge, but I'm also on there looking for stories and women to
Stories. Yeah.
photography. We love sharing photography of the female wildlife photography, stuff like that, kids stories. And so that's reach out to us on our social media, reach out to us on our Facebook page. The Facebook page links all of our sorry, website. The website links all of our social media as well.
Yeah. So can you break down the website just a little bit? Because there's the blog aspect of it, but there's also other things available on there. So you have things like recipes. What are the types of things and resources? So
So
can you talk about those a little bit?
yeah, so the blog has numerous categories
Mhm.
because it's got a lot of educational content. One of the things that I have learned in the publication world, and also as I've got a couple of graduate degrees, we research everything. We want to know why, when, how, A all the way to Z with A.123 in the middle. And so we're doing that for you. We are blessed to get a lot of products from different companies. We're blessed to do a lot of collabs with different companies, and we're doing those product reviews. We're determining, is it really fit for a woman? Is it really fit for an adventure? And we've got recipes on there. So Lady had several chefs in the past that used to provide uh, recipes and content and the stories behind the recipes. Plus, I've dabbled as a wild game chef myself. And so we're constantly uploading. There is different stories of leading women. And when I say leading women, I'm talking any woman. So we call them leading women because everyone has a story and everyone is amazing. Um, we've got partnerships on there, and we also list different women's organizations that we trust. Unfortunately, in the women's world, there are organizations that I've worked with that I can't recommend, so I don't put
Yeah.
them on my. And then there's organizations that I've worked with, I've vetted or whatever, and they're on the page.
It's great to
And
hear that you care so much that you're willing to review the product and you're willing to make those recommendations because like we're doing this currently right now so that we can make recommendations to brandy shooters as well as women that have been around a little bit who are asking those questions. Where can I find that? So here, can you get me a resource? And as I said earlier before we came on the podcast, I was going through your website and there is so much there and it's so much positivity as well. You did and I've been following you on social media as well on Facebook, but I saw the pictures of the hunt. Fantastic. It was really cool to see. So if there's a hunt that's coming up or anything like that, do you typically advise people about it or if people are looking to participate?
so I don't really do anything just me.
Okay.
Um, but I always recommend her upland events. We have camps, clinics. So the cool thing about her upland is the mission behind it is helping women learn how to upland hunt on public land. And we teach everything from gear, how to train your dogs, where to hunt, what use Onyx. So we're teaching them how to use Onyx to hunt. And so we do 2-day wing shooting clinics, and what those are focused on is literally wing shooting. So everything from types of shotguns, ammo, chokes. I When I do them, I teach you different disciplines that you can practice and how those mimic the different types of birds. And then we also put them on live birds. So it is 2 full intense days of classroom education and wing shooting instruction. So you get 8 hours of classroom education and you get 8 hours of wing shooting instruction. And I don't know if you've ever shot for 8 hours in a weekend, but that's a lot.
It
Um,
is, yeah.
and then bird dog camps. So flushing and pointing. This year we have 2 pointing camps on the books, and those are 4 days, and they are very catered to you and your dog. It's not a one size fits all type of situation,
Cool.
and it's everything for your dog at the age of the dog. So, for example, I'm attending the Nebraska camp. My lab puppy will only be 4.5 months old at that time. So they will help me with what do I need to be doing with a 4.5 month old puppy. But we take everything from, she's a little young, we really like 6 months on up. And then our hunt camps are 5 days, and they are 2.5 days of straight education. So everything and anything, even ecology, habitat, all of that, we bring in special guests. And actually, all of our events, we bring in special guests, experts, and then we days on public land. So for this year, we have our first hunt camp is in New York, which is grouse and woodcock in October. I will be at that one. The one at the end of October is pheasant in South Dakota. I'll be driving through that one. I'll be missing it, unfortunately. And then we will have Bob White quail camp in Oklahoma in December, and I will be the wing shooting instructor.
Amazing. I just stopped. Sorry, Deneen, I didn't mean to step on your toes.
No, it's okay. I think there's a little bit of a delay, so we're picking that up. So I'm just curious, how do people that are watching or listening get involved in those camps, especially if they're from up here in Canada, because those are all American locations?
So we actually, this past year at Arizona Quail Camp, we had a college girl come from Canada. So the cool thing, I know as far as getting your firearms, potentially your dogs, all of that out of Canada can be a little hard times, and we provide everything. So if you don't have a gun, no big deal. If you don't have a dog for our hunt camps, no big deal. Same thing. They're not really needed at the wing shooting camps either, but we do allow them to come. So herupland.com has all of our events listed. We welcome anyone and everyone. We've been last year at Arizona Quail Camp, we had a lady from Mexico. So we are all over. You have to have a hunting license for our hunt camps, and we help with all of that. We also offer scholarships. So each one of our events offers youth and adult scholarships. The youth scholarships are paid 100%. The only thing you have to do is get there. We even pay for a chaperone if you were under the age of 18. And then the adult scholarships are a 50% scholarship, and every single one of our events offers at least one in each category, and you would go on to herupland.com to apply for that as well.
Amazing. And do you have sponsors that support these events as well? I've seen over the last while, before we met, I was actually following Her Upland, and so being an upland hunter and a dog lover myself, I love the idea, so it's pretty cool to learn about it. So who's involved?
So we've got several sponsors. Some of our bigger sponsors are Onyx, Boss Ammo. So every single event, whenever we are shooting birds, ammo is provided by Boss. And then Siren provides a lot of our shotguns, and they do provide some instructors and swag. We always love Siren swag.
Anything purple, right? Anything purple. Siren.
My signature color.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are our main bigger sponsors. We are always sponsors. So I am actually on the fundraising board now. So reach out to me. But yeah, it's to keep costs down. It is so important for those sponsors. And another thing that we have is our Feather Foundation. And ladies harvest the birds on public land, and then they make crafts like the earrings I'm wearing, crafts with the feathers, and then we sell those at Pheasant Fest every year.
And the hits keep coming. It sounds like you guys just are stacking all the opportunities and all the experiences together. That's amazing. Now, how about women that have gone to one or two before? Do they keep coming? Do they show up, or do you only allow new people?
No, so we are all for repeat participants. One of the things I've been doing is I'm going through all the fundraising files, is I have a list of every single person that's attended, and our retention rate in of women repeating themselves as far as coming is about 60%. It's like incredible. And another cool thing is I'm noticing as far as trends is about 35 to 40% of those women become volunteers with
That's
her up.
amazing.
Yeah, whether it is at what we call a field mentor. So we don't have guides.
Okay.
We have field mentors, and the field mentors are who take the ladies on the hunts, or they come in to help with the wing shooting clinics, as dog trainers at the dog camps and stuff like that. Even so, I started out as kind of a wing shooting instructor for the one young lady in Arizona a few years ago, but then I became squad lead, which I literally was camp chef and keeping everybody fed and happy. I've done that quite a few times now. And then recently last year becoming a wing shooting instructor. And so all of her upland is mainly volunteer help. And so it is so important that whenever these you attend our events and then they're like, man, I love this so much, I want to become a volunteer, that is huge.
And are these chapters across the U.S. right now?
Yeah, we have regions across the U.S.
And none in Canada?
I was
No,
just going to ask. Ever
no,
thought
but
about bridging into Canada?
that,
Because, yeah,
yeah, no, that, I mean, I think that's a phenomenal idea.
I do too.
Definitely have to bring to the board because there are so many, so many amazing women in, because like I see you guys on all of the Facebook chats that I'm a part of, and the bird dogs and all of that. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
no, great idea.
Well, yeah, you let us know. We'd love to have that conversation. I have an incredible fondness for bird hunting, whether it be waterfowl or upland, and I'm dying to do something like bobwhite or something that I've never quail, doves, never done, never had the opportunity to do this. Yeah,
Come to December camp.
right. What am I doing? I
We
should
got an invite, Deneen. Let's go.
don't need my dog and I don't need my gun. I just need an
Right?
airplane ticket. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty-
yeah.
yeah.
No, all you got to do is get here. So, and that's another cool thing that we do. We don't expect you to have all the fancy gear and everything either. I mean, it is constant. Like because of Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, you name the vest, I've got it. So, Final Rise, Prois, Orvis, Chief Upland, all of them. So I literally just tote around this massive box of upland gear and just pass it out. So because if you we get so many women that are just starting out
Yeah.
and want them to have success. And so that's why we're like, don't go spending all that crazy money. Try it first. And that's why we do the gear talks as well. And what we do as ladies that are volunteers, we just throw all of our stuff on tables and just talk about it, let the ladies try it on and everything. We do the same thing with shotguns.
Amazing.
And it's just so important to, again, that research. We've tried it. Now you try it.
I can see a she shoots special called a gear talk. I could see this happening. This is
Yeah.
so many women ask about vests and
Yeah.
boots and pants for the like brush pants and yeah, it's such a good topic.
I literally refer to my closet in my office as Cabela's. So
Cabela's for women. Yeah.
yes, I have so much stuff, and it's like I'll get this stuff in, and we'll review it, and then we'll do giveaways on Lady because or I will donate it or whatever, or I'll see someone post, looking for something inexpensive, I can't afford it. I'll reach out to them, hey, I got this sent to me, you can have it, because it would just go to waste to closet. There's only so much you can wear. And so I could talk for days on gear. It's one of the things whenever last year her Upland redid our whole format for the wing shooting clinic, and I took it upon myself just from my background to create our 8 hours of in classroom instruction. And I went on full on tangent on the gear talk side of things. And because the wing shooting side, we can get into the competition clay target side because we do teach a little bit of that because that's the best way to practice in the off season. Live birds all the time. Well, I mean, I guess you can here in Texas because we have preserve hunts, but it's too hot to do that. And it's not fair to the dogs, not fair to the birds. But so we go both ways as far as how we're talking and what we're teaching. And so that's, the gear talk is so important because when you're hunting, it starts with your feet.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
And that's what I was just going to ask you. What are the things that are usually the most important that women want to talk about? And boots is definitely cold feet makes the whole thing terrible.
Yeah. Boots and what shotgun? That is literally number one question I get. You can get away with mediocre pants. You might get a few prickly things depending upon where you're hunting. But boots, socks, and your shotgun.
Yeah. If you have warm and dry feet, and if you have a shotgun that fits you, you're golden.
Right?
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
And the number one thing that we discuss.
Yeah. So when I mentioned that you just, some of the gear that you allow people to try out was the Proas gear. And we recently had an episode about Proas. And I think that Deneen has hit the nail on the head. We really need to have a gear talk. So everything from the boots right up into the gun, but everything in between as well. So, the jackets and your closet sounds like my closet. It's like Cabella's upstairs as well. There's stuff that I've never ever worn because it's either too big, too small. I think and if I asked Deneen's probably, she's shaking her head up. Deneen, do you have one of those closets too?
No, I have a room.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
We have one of those too. I crap to my husband about how expensive all his clothes were. I can never say anything about how expensive shotguns are because I have the most expensive shotguns in the safe. But I used to make fun of him about his closet. I have no room to talk.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm exactly with you, Brandy. And it depends. So the temperature, it depends on what I'm hunting, but I always go back to my go-to boots and my go-to base layers. Yep. But whether it's blaze orange or camo, whatever it is, the same stuff. And I have an entire room and it's dedicated and divided for sport and type of hunt. So it's I certainly have nothing that I can complain about when it comes to that for sure.
Yeah, I think I think we're blessed, all of us.
It's funny though, it's like, in the upland world, we don't wear camo. And I have a lot of camo. I have a Sitka bib set, and that the rare occasion I go waterfowl hunting, but getting into the hunt test world, you have to wear camo from head to toe. I had to go buy camo.
Really?
Yeah, I had to buy, for Texas weather. Yeah. And so, I didn't have anything. So I actually had to, and I'm not going to lie, I'm matchy. Shout out to Duck Camp.
It's funny. I recently went on an upland hunt, and there was somebody there without matchy, and it just, my OCD just went, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I did snow goose a few weeks ago in mid-northern, if you will, Alberta, and it was snowing. So we had to take all the camo in case it was a field hunt, but we had to take all the overwhites in case it snowed. And so it looked like I was deploying to some foreign country. I had so much gear, and it's the first time we've ever been snowed out of snow goose hunting. It was literally too cold and too snowy, and the birds were hunkered down. So I had all the gear and it still didn't help. but I I can proudly say if I was wearing it, would have all matched. Kelly,
There you go.
your
Perfect.
OCD would have been fine.
I would have been good.
I
Um,
one time my thing laying on a cold, wet ground while it's raining with a ghillie suit off of me in a white plastic coat is not for me.
Yeah, there are moments. There are moments, and I can tell you, we all looked at each other and said, "This is supposed to be fun," and we took holidays for this, and so yeah, not not very common that that happens, but I'd always be rather out on a hunt than just about anywhere else. So yeah, it's good times. So guns and gear and dogs. It sounds like I don't know, probably 2 or 3 episodes to me,
or I was going to say a good weekend.
or a good
Yeah.
weekend. Absolutely. You know
Yeah.
what? Turn the cameras on and let her rip. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. So,
I
Yeah.
told I type upland hunting since I hunt public land, going on an arm hike with my dog.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Like Christy from Poes said, we're all feral. We're all
Yeah.
feral beasts.
The
Yeah.
other thing that I noticed too is when we started getting into your story, is almost the exact same story as all the ladies that are on this podcast. We got in, we dipped our foot in, and then all of a sudden it was just, I'm fully in. And what's the next step? And what's the next step? And I find that all of the guests, we've been around for 5 years, and all of the guests that we've had on, it's the same story, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to have you on. I keep saying it, but it's amazing to see how we have so many women that are part of our community and how much we love what we do and how we love to spread the message about shooting and hunting and discipline sports and even getting into it from an employment aspect of things. So again, I really have to thank you because the talk that we're having tonight is also filling a different area that we've never talked about before, able-body shooting, but also getting out there and just doing it. And yeah, I really appreciate one, you reaching out, but two, if anybody is listening, I really want them to go and follow you. Check out the website. What's the website again, and what's your social medias?
LadyOutdoorLifestyles.com.
Okay.
All of our social media for Lady is on there, but if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, it's at Lady Outdoor Lifestyles. The YouTube and TikTok, you'll have to go through the website because it's funky. And then if you want to follow me, I'm at Brandy Elrod or Brandy.Elrod1 on Instagram.
Everybody go and do it. Go follow.
Go follow. You know, and that's to Kelly's point. We've had the absolute blessing of guests that have shot all over the world, and Olympians, and Team Canada, and Team USA, and but we did talk about Paralympic shooting when we talked to some of the coaches from Team Canada, and we also talked to a sports psychologist. But we didn't talk to anybody that actually shot or coached. And one of the things that we've said often is that shooting is a sport that doesn't really have an age limit. Mm-hmm. And now, Brandy, you shared with us that it actually doesn't have a fingers and toes limit either.
No.
So I love that.
No, it's so funny because, like, you know, when you get around a bunch of para people or dark humor out, and it's really crazy to see, like one of my former teammates, Sam, and his handle is One Hand Sam because he literally has one hand. And I actually helped him adapt his shotgun. He kind of was just this random guy that ended up on the team. He shot for his college, and I don't even remember how we found him, but kind of he became basically that little brother I never wanted. But yeah, I helped him adapt his shotgun too. And it's crazy to just watch the differences whenever you get something that works for you.
Yeah.
And watching all of these people, a lot of the, what's called an upper body Paralympian is they don't have adaptation. A lot of them shoot one-armed. I don't have the core strength to do that. Part of my injury does affect my spine. And so I don't have that upper body core strength to hold a shotgun with one arm. We tried it. But just really cool to see it. Or there is a lot of athletes in wheelchairs, and varying degrees of where is their is it C or T or wherever as far as along their spinal cord, and that really you can watch them and see the different adaptations they have to make just to be able to shoot the gun. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's all over the place. The Paralympic world is very, very vast.
Yeah, it is.
There is like some qualifiers, but I was competing with some people that really should have been just able-bodied, but they had just enough, and they were throwing up scores that an able-bodied person could throw up, and they compete both sides. But that's just how the cookie crumbles. I mean, we have to compete. At one point, I was very fortunate to be in the top 10 out of everybody. And then I was the number 2 female in the world. And so I worked really hard for that. That was a rough year. Worked really hard for that one. But I learned a lot, and I met a lot of cool people.
Well, and congratulations for that. That's something I'm hugely proud of. And, if there's one thing I learned about Brandy tonight, you are full of piss and vinegar, girl. You are absolutely just committed to success, yours and everybody else's. And it is such a beautiful thing. And it makes me motivated just to get out and do something else again, like add something, try something. So it's amazing.
So I remember one time, one of my students, so I always had a rule: you could not chunk shells. You chunk shells on my range, you were getting some type of terrible physical labor. I would kids walk with a case of shells above their head to the pond and back, which was about a football field and back, and 22 pounds above their head. And one of my kids was just being terrible. And one of the other kids walked up to him and he goes, "Our coach has one arm and does not bitch about anything. Yet you're chunking shells just because you keep missing targets. Let her." And he just went on a rant about it. And that just kind of stuck with me. It's like, if I can shoot, I can take my shooting stick and tape it to your gun and hit the targets. Stop complaining.
Stop complaining. Yeah. Yeah. I learned a lesson like that when I first started sporting clays, Brandy. I was squatted up with a guy that had lost his hand in a farming accident, an agriculture accident, and he had a hook. And Casey, you probably shot with him too, because we shot at the same club. But he had a hook, and so his adaptation was he had a metal ring put on the bottom of his forend, and he would put his hook through it and rest on it and use the strength of his upper body and his other arm. And that was just a guiding and leaning prop so that he could move it. And I remember when my son, who was 6 at the time, he was afraid to ask. And of course, the gentleman was so open about telling the story and so open about sharing the hook. Like, you could touch it, you could touch the gun. It really was, it was a beautiful thing to learn and to see the adaptations and not even realize it. Because at first we were all just shooting on the squad and he was hitting everything, right?
Yeah.
To look hard to go, oh my gosh, this guy doesn't have a hand. Like, this is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like, I remember my very first time I shot overseas. That's where you really see everything. And I was just like, this is crazy. And I actually met, there's a French athlete that has the same injury as I have, but he's never had surgeries. He has no adaptation to his gun, but he has a little bit more mobility, upward mobility than I have. So he literally just takes his arm like this and rests his shotgun on his arm, and he just uses his body to move the gun.
Wow.
That is crazy. And so I'm really not going to complain when I miss targets anymore. I have less to complain about. That is for sure. So,
well, yeah, Brandy, I have to say that your energy and your enthusiasm is contagious.
It is.
And so we're so excited that you have come to the show. You can share about your experiences and then also the good work that you're doing. Please, if you can get us into Canada, we'd love you to come. But one of the things that we actually kind of leave everybody with is about recommendations you have for women and people who are able-bodied or people who may need your services, about recommendations to get into hunting and shooting and why it's so important for them to do that.
I highly recommend finding a mentor. If you're getting into the wing shooting side of things, find a good shotgun instructor. You can learn a lot from an instructor. Spend the money because it'll save you a lot of heartache in the long run. As far as finding a mentor, whether it's another woman, a man, an organization, I highly, highly recommend it because at the end of the day, it is so smart to have that person that you talk to, ask the questions, all of the things. I mean, yeah, you can do your own research, but it's so smart to learn from others. I'm doing that right now in getting into the bird dog world. Talking about going off the deep end. I bought my first bird dog last year, picked her up on Mother's Day, and I did it again this Mother's Day. I got another bird. Have a thing for Mother's Day and bird dogs. And I have this whole group of people that are helping me with that. And because I don't know the bird dog world, I've hunted over numerous dogs, but as far as owning my own, training my own, I don't know that world. But whenever it comes to shotguns, I can tell you anything and everything you want to know. So start with a shotgun instructor or an instructor if you're learning how to shoot a rifle or a bow. That's a whole world in itself. And then find that group. I find that most women feel more comfortable with women, and so find that group of women out there and just start tagging along. You don't have to, if you're getting into hunting, you don't have to carry that bow, that rifle, that shotgun. You can literally just sit in the blind or take a walk in the field and never even lift that firearm. It is okay to do that. I literally, if you watch her upland episode of DU Ascend, you'll watch the progression of one of the ladies go from taking a walk to taking her gun to shooting her first bird over that 5 days. It's okay. So yeah, find a mentor and a friend, because you will become friends whether they want.
Yep. I agree so much. And so if they want to get in contact with you, I know we threw it up a little bit earlier, but if they want to be friends with you, you're okay with them reaching out, right?
Yeah. I have diagnosed gun fit problems many times over FaceTime.
Yeah.
So I've had ladies literally come to events just for me to diagnose whether they had an eye dominance problem.
Right.
So yeah, totally reach out to me. I am all for answering questions. I do it all the time on social media. You can also go to ladyoutdoorlifestyles.com, and that'll give you the email if you want to just go directly to me. But I do check my messages on social media, so do not hesitate. You got gear questions, don't ask me dog questions. I'm gonna tell you to go buy one. And gear, shotgun, I can answer it. Waterfowl, not your person.
All right. So I got some questions for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Upland, 20 or 12 gauge?
20. I am
side by side or over and under?
I actually use a semi. When I quit competing, I switched. I'm a proponent of an over and under or a side by side, any type of break action. If you fall and your gun is loaded, that is a big no-no. But you can walk with that gun with those shells in the barrel broke open on your shoulder and be ready like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so what is Brandy's favorite gun, make, model for Upland?
Beretta A400 Explorer.
Excellent.
Nice.
Now, over and under wise, I'm a big fan of ACAR USA's Lady Country, maybe because I had a little bit of a hand in helping design it a little bit.
Design it.
Yeah. So, but it's a gun under $1,700 and it's adjustable. I also like, if you got a little bit more money, I like the Siren D2. I love that gun. I'm not gonna lie. I have taped my shooting stick to one several times because I like the 28 gauge barrels. Because you can have 28 gauge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what did you shoot? What gun did you shoot when you were competing with the Team USA?
I had a couple of Blazer F3s with a precision fit stock. So have never really fit me that well. So I had basically the Robo stock. I will tell you real quick, favorite stock pad is the Falcon Strike. You can mount that pad to any gun. It is a Canadian product, by the way. And it will take about 90% of the recoil out of any gun and about 80% of the muzzle bump. Highly, highly recommend that pad.
Nice.
That's awesome. And now what about chokes on board or externals?
I like flat chokes. I will use extended chokes, but I like flush chokes. I have this thing with the 28-inch barrel. Whenever I competed, it was a 30-inch barrel. I like that sight line. That's what I stick with. Weird, yes, but that's what I prefer.
No, that's absolutely fine. And what chokes do you like using out in the field, Brandy?
I use a combo. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. So I used to be, but I'm not anymore. When I quit competing, I dropped everything. So that way I could recommend whatever I wanted. I use Briley's. Briley's has been very good to me throughout the years. And Rhino. Rhino's been really good to me too. And it just depends. Waterfowl, I use Rhinos, and upland, I use Briley's.
Excellent. Well, those were all my sort of rapid fire questions. I was curious what gun you used, but then of course I went down the rabbit hole of field shooting. So
great rabbit hole. It was really good. Thank you.
Yeah. Favorite gun to use for waterfowl is a Beretta A400 Excel. It is a sporting gun, but it has never done me dirty.
Perfect. Awesome.
For waterfowl.
Yeah, there's you know that you love hunting when you've got a favorite gun for each of your different disciplines and sports, because I also am, I have one for waterfowling and one for upland and one for sporting and all of that, and they're different and I love them all equally. They're all my favorite children. So
you would think I was sponsored by Beretta because there's 6 of them sitting in our gun safe.
Wow.
Just the A400.
Italian shotguns aren't a horrible thing, so I'll support that.
That is true.
No,
Absolutely.
Right. They make good boots, good vests, and good guns.
Outstanding.
Sounds like another great weekend.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Brandy, for sharing everything with us. I love that your parting thoughts on how to get into this sport for women is to find a mentor and make a friend. Yep. I think that is such a great words of advice. And I've met women just like us that are like, well, I want to shoot a pistol, but I want to shoot a shotgun and I want a dog and and it's like, okay, one at a time, but you can do it all. We do.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it all perfectly, but you can go out and have fun and get to know some great people doing it. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for reaching out. You're a wonderful, wonderful, inspirational woman from the shooting industry. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you to your audience. So I hope if anybody gets anything out of this is, if you think you can't, you can't.
So I don't think there's any questions that came in, just a bunch of comments, but we're just waiting for Regina to reboot. She was having some computer problems, but I have a question because you guys were talking about boots. What's the favorite boots? I do this as you take a drink, right?
Oh, Crispies. I love. I know they're expensive.
They are. Yeah.
My first pair of Crispies, in the first 6 months, I put 250 miles on them, and they look brand new. Like, I mean, I took them right out of the box, and I think I did like 14 miles in them that first day. and my feet were fine.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I spend more on the boots, or I'm willing to spend more on the boots and the gun. So everything else is kind of
yeah. No, seriously, that I tell everybody. I am fortunate with her upland. We get them for very inexpensive. But the crispy boots and the darn tough socks. Spend money on socks too. So
Yeah, you do. Yep.
but I love darn tough socks, but because they come in the different thicknesses and they're 100% merino wool. But yeah, no, I have 3 pairs. Yeah, first pair I got at Shields for 50% off, so it was like a steal. And I started working for her upland as a volunteering. That's one of the cool things that Courtney Fashion does. Takes care of the volunteers, and so we get the for 50% off too. So I took advantage of that.
Awesome.
Great recommendation. Those are good boots. And
Yeah,
if
every woman likes a good deal.
right, everybody likes a good deal. Yeah, and I was going to say, if your feet get wet in the middle of your hunt, the rest of your hunt's pretty shitty. So you know, right? So good boots, and yeah, something that keeps you dry, keeps you warm for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, Casey, you're the insulated. So I don't buy insulated boots anyways. I'm a firm believer in just socks. So yeah, because I mean, even though like last year we were hunting South Dakota and it was negative 27, 20 inches of snow on the ground. I wore the crispy Scarvins, which are the leather waterproof ones, and the heavyweight darn tough socks, and my feet were not cold.
Wow.
Makes all the difference.
So
from Canada to Texas, so
right.
I've got all the winter stuff. I got nothing for Texas heat.
Make Duck Camp your friend. So you, because of the podcast, you qualify for their pro program, and it's 50% off. I highly recommend Duck Camp. Super lightweight, very good looking, and it is a Texas brand. They're out of Austin, and the warehouse is in Dallas, so you'll get it super quick.
Yeah, that's nice.
So Casey, quick question. So do you mind us placing orders with you? Like we'll have it delivered to your place.
You guys can come visit and pick up your stuff, and we'll go meet up with Brandy and go hunt or go.
I think that's a great idea. We keep talking about doing weekends.
Yeah. In the Bob White quail, I literally have some in my quail pen right now because with me getting this puppy, she needs some friends.
Well, we're a little bit closer now, and you got a place to stay.
So we're still waiting for Kate. Or I was just gonna say we're still waiting for Casey, but we're not. We're waiting for Rahina. Can we talk just a little bit more? Because I was super interested to see about the recent hunt that you went on. Were you successful? What were you able to do? Like,
what were you hunting?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a 3-day hunt. We did, there's no we in the first one, the python. You grab them. You do not shoot them. I used to always shot them. So I was like, oh my gosh, bucket list hunt. And then I found out you literally stick your perfectly good hand into a bush and grab them and they bite you. So 6 ladies did the python hunt. They caught 2 pythons. It is breeding season or something like that right now. So, and then because of the freeze that Florida had so late, it did affect or has affected the python and iguana populations in the upper Florida Everglades. So they only found, and then the next day, iguana in West Palm Beach, Florida. And again, the iguana population has been heavily affected. So my group only saw about 20 iguanas total. We were able to shoot at 16 of them and harvested 12. And then they are hard to shoot from a moving boat. So that was an experience. But it was really cool to watch the dogs work. Because literally you have what's called iguana dogs. They go and retrieve them. They'll even jump off in the water because if an iguana gets hurt, they'll like dive down in the water and the dogs will go after them.
Oh my goodness.
It's really cool. The episode, I can't wait to see what Ruby does with this episode, because she got a lot of cool dog work. And then we
Cool.
went on Lake Okeechobee for a bunch of invasive species like tilapia, spotted gar. I almost got an alligator, scared the crap out of me. But yeah, no, it was, oh, and plecotomus, like literally what you would see in an aquarium, because we see them like idiots, and they're tearing up Florida. Okay, full of them. I mean, that's how, like, I mean, it was an invasive species hunt, and all of these are literally house pets that people released over the years, and procreated massively.
Hi, Regina. You're back.
She's like, what the heck? Uh-oh, she's frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen.
I think we might have lost her again.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we can continue. I know that usually now we would be doing what events are coming up. So Kelly, do you want to start us off on that?
Okay, so we have a couple of events that are coming up for the CCFR Women's events. So we have one that's going to be taking place on June 6th with Orno, which is here in Ontario. We have another event that's going to be taking place. It's called Guns and Heels, and it's in Woodstock, New Brunswick, and it's on August 22nd. We have a couple more events, I think, that are about to be published on that. So what'll happen is I'll share it on the Facebook page. So go and look at that once I update it. And if anybody does have events that they would like to feature, just send us an email at sheshoots@gmail.com. We'll be happy to talk about them.
Oops.
Yeah. And then Rahina's back again. Yay!
Sorry, I don't know what's happening with my internet. Literally, it was fine the whole episode, and then right towards the end, it just starts lagging. Computer completely froze. I was like, okay, let me try my phone. So, anyways, thanks for covering for me, Kelly.
No worries. We were waiting around. We had some great stories about iguanas, pythons, and yeah,
putting your hands in bushes or not doing that, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
So we did move forward with a couple of our Ladies' Day events that we have been featuring. So
it's widening.
Sure, I'll mention a couple of things of note in Alberta. The Silver Willow Gun Club in Carstairs is doing its legendary Ladies Learn to Shoot in May. It always sells out, and so that's something to check out if you're in that area, and that's sporting clays for women. And the Ahia Gun Club in De Winton is now open on Wednesdays, which means their ladies' nights are going to start. Ladies and youth nights will start on Wednesdays, so that's down the road from me. So I'll make an appearance when I can, and hope to be out at Carstairs as well. And the dog clubs are, as Brandy and I were talking about earlier, and we were all talking about Upland, the dog clubs, whether it be the pointer clubs, the versatile clubs, or the flushers, they're all out and training in Canada here. I'm sure they train a lot more down in the US, but we've got trials coming up. And so we're doing upland training and water training and steady training, and the puppies are out, and it is a time. So if anybody is interested in learning about dogs, dog hunting, hunting birds over dogs, that kind of thing, reach out to the She Shoots podcast, and one of us will, I was going to say point you in the right direction, but I would rather flush than point. Anyway, dog humor. So that's what's going on over in my neck of the woods.
All right. And Brandy, did you want to bring up anything going on that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, I was actually pulling all of that up. So go to herupland.com in May. We have Pointing Dog Camp in Montana towards the end of this month. And then Montana is in July, Pointing Dog Camp in Nebraska in July. And then Grouse and Woodcock Camp October, Pheasant Camp in October, Bob White Camp in December, and then we'll be going to Florida in January for that is our 2020.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sounds like my passport's going to be busy,
Yeah, I think so.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, I'll hand it off to you then, Rahina.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, ladies, for advertising all those events. So make sure if you're available and you have time and you're in the area to sign up for those events and share all your pictures through social media so we can see what your listeners are doing. Other than that, just some quick reminders. If you want to find us, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram with the She Shoots name. We rebranded at the beginning of the year. Well, not rebranded, but we just opened our social media to be under the She Shoots umbrella. So you can find us through our She Shoots name. As well as if you have any upcoming episodes, not episodes, oh my God, if you have any upcoming events for the rest of the year, summertime, fall, at your ranges that you would like us to advertise, go ahead and you can send us an email at sheshootspodcast@gmail.com and we'll make sure to advertise it through here and then also through social media pages so that we can reach out to more people for your events. Other than that, I will go ahead with our closing remarks. So with that, I think
And
that's pretty
thank
much
you so
everything. You
much,
can listen
Brandy.
to us. Yeah, you can
Yes.
listen to us on our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Make sure you follow us on all social media pages, and we will catch you all next month on the second Tuesday of every month at our regular time of 5 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. MST, and 8 p.m. EST. We all know the drill here, people. Other than that, with that, have a good night, everyone, and see you all next time.
Bye, everyone.